welcome to episode 7 of the Universe Extended, where we are discussing episode 8. Oh my god, it's actually episode 8. Episode 8, where we are discussing the new Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4 show. Tonight, we're going to be discussing spoilers, so if you are here and you are listening, this is your 10 seconds before we talk spoilers. All right, enough of that shit. If you have not, follow us here on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, follow us on your favorite podcasting app. If you have not given us a rating, really, you should give us a rating. Even if you don't like X-Wing, but you love Obi-Wan Kenobi spoilers, go ahead, give us a little bit of a rating. Tonight, joining me on mic is going to be JJ, the ugly-hatted, can't seem to take it off his head, Psych J, who has ousted me out of how many damn tournaments it seems like now, but is wearing an ugly hat, so it kind of ruins the whole thing. Welcome to the show, JJ. How are you tonight?
Excited to talk Obi-Wan, man. I actually enjoyed this particular episode a lot, just because you get to see a lot more of the Fortress Inquisitores and seeing a few other like aspects of the development for Obi in this particular arc. I think so.
I agree with you. I think this is my favorite episode so far, and I'm going to tell you right now, like, the best part of the episode is the very end of the episode where Leia grabs Obi-Wan's hand. Like,
yes,
like, and maybe it's because I'm a father and I have a daughter. I have 2 daughters.
Yeah, I'm gonna 100%
say
it's that because that's why it is for me. So yeah, absolutely.
Like, I almost cried. I'm sitting there, in my chair eating my lunch, half crying. Usually I'm done with lunch by then, but typically on Wednesdays, I don't always stay up at night. I try to, but I can't always guarantee I could be up at, midnight on a Wednesday night. And so usually it's my lunch hour on Thursday where I watch this. Or I'm sorry, Wednesday where I watch this, because I'll be sitting at home and I almost always have grilled cheese with bacon jam and 3 types of cheese and tomato soup. It's like a typical standard Wednesday lunch for Tanner to go watch Obi-Wan, because I could cook it in less than 10 minutes. And that guarantees that I get 48 minutes to watch the show without violating my lunch break.
Nice.
So I'm excited. To me, I'm excited by this. I guess my mic's not excited, but I am excited. And I thought this was probably the best episode that they had out of all of them. I will tell you, where he meets Darth Vader and Darth Vader tries to burn him, spoiler alert, was pretty amazing. But this whole episode makes up almost to that whole point. Like, it just, like, this episode is so nail-biting, and you're in it for the win in this one. And I will say, it's pretty daring. You've got Obi-Wan's going to an Inquisitor fortress, right? Like, they haven't had to do these things before, right? Like, this is crazy. Like, what's the worst scenario in Clone Wars, the show, that Obi-Wan put himself in?
I mean, other
the Mandalore.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Mandalore. That's right.
Yep, with Satine.
I was going to say Cad Bane, but yeah, you're right. Mandalore. Nope. Yeah.
This Mandalore with Satine. That is the worst position Obi's ever been in anything.
Yeah.
Up until now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely loved it. Just seeing the callbacks to Jedi Fallen Order, seeing like the interrogation room in there, and also seeing like that whole sequence fight when they're in the underground passage as well, that they took from that as well, which is really nice to see. Just going back to the beginning of it, one of my nitpicks for this is his hair is not burned for some reason. His hair was not burned. And I'm like, come on.
The body fixed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, regrew his hair. The Bacta tank scene was definitely really interesting, because he keeps on flashing back, or at least the video kept on flashing back between him and Vader in the Bacta tank, like recovering, and you could tell that like Obi-Wan is like seriously like traumatized by his encounter that he just had with Anakin, seeing the monster that he just became, and it's his fear basically eating him up in it, and he's trying to like reconcile everything that's just happened to him, to the point that he's in a panic when he gets out of the back of the tank and stuff, but he's like in a rush to go get saved with Leia. And seeing that rebel cell there with Ice T's or with Ice Cube's son, I forget his name, being the cell leader there, agreeing to help him out with T-47s and getting him in there. I thought that was pretty interesting, just to have that small unit go in. And I got to say, Tala is, like, probably, besides Obi, my favorite character. Or sorry, besides Leia and Obi, she's my favorite character. The fact that she was playing, like, basically a triple agent, like to like deceive the Empire. She is fantastic. Her whole sequence of going in there, like basically like strong talking the security check guy to get inside to gain access into the Empire's computer logs to help Obi-Wan navigate the fortress, and then staring down Reva and basically talking her down from like being killed to like managing to survive the whole ordeal. Like, fantastic. She was great.
Yeah, and I think that's like she's is somewhat unique, right? Like I don't think she's shown up in any other lore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that I know of. But I wonder if they named Talos Squadron after her.
And that's a possibility, right? But we don't know because she's not dead yet.
Yeah.
That we know of. So,
yeah.
I don't know, like, yeah, that piece of it was a little bit different. Like, I think I agree with you. I think she's a very strong character. I think in this show they're only giving us a few strong characters though. So
yeah.
I curb my excitement about her per se. In the aspect of like how she does versus the other ones. But in reality, I feel she's a very strong asset. The one thing I did not like was the whole, well, you guys, they go to the rebel base and it's like, yeah, we're just starting up. We're not pilots. And it's like, okay, so what? Like, that's very uncharacteristic, to be honest, of the rebellion. And that's probably the reality, though.
Well, you got to remember, at this point, there is no organized rebellion, right? Because this is before the time of Rebels. So at the end of Rebels season 3, I want to say, is when they actually gathered together to form the Rebel Alliance at that point. So we're before the part before this becomes a Rebel or like the Rebel Alliance. This is just a small cell that's helping smuggling people out of the location. So all they have is just those 2 air speeders in that ship that help them get through. So that's why there's not much available in terms of resources.
Yes, and no. I agree with you in that aspect, but the problem I have is the cautiousness. They felt like they were like Obi-Wan from episode 1 and 2. Like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're really cautious. We don't want to die. It's like, you're smuggling fucking Jedi people out. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen? Like, not to be a dick, but you're gonna die. Like, this is not like a, I don't know. This is not the Kessler run, like you're not going to make it. You're not Han Solo. You're not making it out of here, bro. It's just not going to happen. And, like, I don't know, like maybe it's an illusion. And I've never been in a position where I've had to like put my life on the line revolutionarily, right? For a sector of society. We've like in America, we don't have that at this current time that we live. And I'm only 39, so I didn't live through the time when there's lots of people who couldn't vote or even sit on a bus or use common, drinking orifices, right? Like I didn't live through that time. So to me, it's a little different. But like, and maybe that's why I'm that gung-ho person that's basically like, I don't feel I don't see an afterlife in my life. Like, I don't believe in the afterlife. So like for me, if I'm going to give my life, it's going to be for a good cause, but I'm not going to be as hesitant, I don't think, because in the long run, I know we're all just these little particles of atoms, and all I want to do is stop the big bad evil from whatever is happening, right? And maybe it feels a little bit more like a loss-centric there because, the Empire feels like they have an insane amount of control, because they probably do. I don't know. So that piece just didn't fit in terms of how it was. usually there's a charismatic leader. There's somebody there that's kind of like helping curtail some of these other personalities. And I didn't get that out of it, and it kind of felt disjointed to me personally. But again, I like this just, this is like my son when my son comes over and critiques it because he's like, well, that wouldn't be canon and that seems stupid. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You're ruining it for me. Like, I'm not trying to do that. But I can acknowledge I'm kind of doing that.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay, critique. So moving on to the part where they finally infiltrate the fortress and Obi-Wan takes the air breather that we see him use back in episode 1 to infiltrate underneath. The little secret drone that was in the lower levels patrolling it, that was actually an earlier version of the Iden Versio drone that she uses in Battlefront 2, which is really cool to see that they animated that for the series, to see that particular secret drone. And then as he's navigating through, he walks into the hall where they kept all the Jedi that they either captured or I'm assuming they killed. And just seeing all those Jedi there, like down that hallway, and like seeing what they're doing. Now, my theory on this point here is that this directly leads over to what we see in Mando season 1, where they're testing experiments on cells from Jedi to do whatever like project that they're trying to complete there. I think this is the beginning part of it, where they're gathering the bodies of the Jedi and testing with their cells with possible genetic manipulation for that.
That's an interesting theory. I guess I could see that, right? And I think that's, like the question becomes, is Grand Inquisitor going to be cloned, right? Like that's the big question here. Could there be other cloning processes that are happening? And it is interesting that they have all those. And that's what my son was pissed off at. He's like, why are they in amber? Like, what is going on here? It's like,
the bodies for dissection. That's how I would interpret that.
Yeah. The question is, are they alive still? Do you think they're alive? Or do you think they're dead and threw them in amber?
And my only sole reason why I think that they're not alive is that in Rebel season 1, we do see that they use somebody encased in a similar substance, which was a Master Luminarum Dooley, to tempt or to lure Kanan and Ezra to come and rescue her, and it ended up being her corpse that was there, still projecting the Force, her presence in the Force there from her body. So even though the person was dead, they were still able to project their essence of through the Force for another Jedi to feel it and come to where they were located at. So I think that's the point of it, right? It's just to preserve the body, even though they're dead, it still preserves the cells there, the midichlorians, to where they can still be active in the Force.
Yep, and they can harvest them.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was interesting, right, was what Reva did. And it kind of lends back to your theory of Reva is the little girl we see in the Jedi Temple. Like her being able to edit a little toy of Leia's. That's pretty bitchin'. I'm sorry. Like that was
pretty good.
I didn't expect that to happen. And like when she was playing with it, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought she was just going to destroy it. We'd move on, blah, blah, blah. Oh no. It is later revealed that essentially she is programmed as a homing beacon for the Inquisitors.
Yeah, and that little Leia, her lines during the interrogation were just classic, especially the last part. She's like, "Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Let me just go ahead and call my dad to get permission." That was great. I loved it. I was like, that was brilliant. Like, just great. Oh man, that whole interrogation scene was really great with her. I loved it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good a mix of Leia, and I feel that they are doing justice to the original Leia character. Like I feel that if Carrie Fisher was still alive, she would be here mentoring her. Like that's and maybe that's me projecting, but that's what I feel we would be seeing.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah. So finally, they bring her over to the interrogation room, which we actually did see in Jedi Fallen Order during that playthrough, and it actually was revamped since that time, because in the game, if you guys haven't played it, there's a sequence where Vader comes and chases Cal Kestis through, and he ends up like basically destroying the majority of that room in the pursuit through it, and which causes it to change in appearance a bit, but it's still the same interrogation room that we see in Jedi Fallen Order. But it was nice to see that callback to that portion of the game. Just seeing that interrogation room area where they took her to have her interrogated, and it was great to see that. My favorite part of that part was Obi-Wan actually going inside to actually take out the guards to rescue her. His ability to just use the lightsaber, slash somebody, then turn it off, remain in complete darkness, and then come and stealth kill the other guy. Like that's a very big departure from how Obi-Wan used to fight. And it was really like good to see him trying to like adapt to his new ways, because he's still obviously not still at full capacity in using the force and using his abilities in the force to be proficient with his lightsaber as he used to be. So him changing his tactics to become a little more stealthy, really nice to see that change. Just those subtle details.
No, I agree, and I think it's interesting to all of a sudden see Obi get his we'll call them resources back, right? You know, like his training's coming back to him. All these other things are coming back to him. It's very interesting to see that. Whereas we've never really seen, like, you've always had a confident Obi-Wan, and it feels like he's getting his stride back, right? That's what this feels like, and it makes sense because if you go back and watch, have you seen recently the Rebels episode where he meets Ezra?
Yeah,
he has his confidence back. So there is a time between these two where he has to gain his life force back to the point where he's that guy that leads Luke to, you know, saying, hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself to Vader to help give you that empowerment. And if you think about it, like, think about it this way, right? So Maul and, well, we'll just pick on Maul. Maul sustains himself on the hate, right? And Obi-Wan giving his life up is like the exact opposite of the hate piece. And it kind of feels like when we see these things, like we just kind of ignore it. But like, if you think about it, it feels like it's a boost to Luke in his force abilities back in episode 3, right? Like right. It's this boost to an ability in the same way, just a little bit different. He's coordinating a feeling to Luke is what he's doing and giving Luke, you know, something that he didn't have before.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going through the escape sequence, seeing Obi-Wan go through the underground corridor, like I said it before, it's just very similar to something that we saw in Fallen Order. Him walking around with basically an oversized cloak to walk Leia right out the front door, ballsy as hell. And then we get Reva shouting, "Traitor!" I was like, what is this, the First Order? Like, what the hell? And then seeing just those air speeders come in and just wreck a bunch of those troopers, I was really expecting, especially the part where he was using suppressive fire to like keep Reva from like engaging Obi-Wan and everybody. I was really expecting Reva to deflect those bolts back to the T-47 to knock it out. But we didn't see that. I was like, huh, like normally, I guess maybe that's just the Vader thing, but like I was kind of hoping that would happen. But I guess in retrospect, I guess she wanted to have them get away so that way she can track them down later. I guess that's the long play. But I thought that was a nice little touch there. I almost had a gripe at that scene though, because at first I was like, when the hell did these air speeders get hyperdrives to suddenly appear in Mustafar, this Mustafar moon, and all of a sudden come and fight, and then they like landed into the bigger carrier. I was like, okay, all right, crisis averted. They didn't break canon. It's fine. So, but it was good to see that to see the air speeders again since what, Empire Strikes Back. That was the only other time that we've ever seen those air speeders.
Yeah, that is true. So anyway, as we wrap up that episode, right, you get to the end, they get away, somebody sacrifices their life, typical Chad. Rebels type thing.
Poor Chad. Did we ever even get to see who he was? Like, I don't remember we even saw his face.
We did. He was in the canyon, but again, it was nothing of any. Like he was just like, that type of thing. It was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm gonna die next round, but you don't know that, but we really do. So, other than that, like, I don't
want to
know,
see
like,
Skylar Card in X-Wing. That's it. That's all I want to say.
no, we're not. Are we gonna? Do you think we're gonna get that ship in X-Wing?
No, probably not. No.
Yeah, nobody wants that ship. That's worse than a Z95. Nobody wants that ship. Like, fly in, automatic. There you go. You fly in, you automatically get Dead Man Switch. Like, that's the way it works. Like, you come equipped with Dead Man Switch, you get 20 loadout points, and you get to fly in, and you get 2 health. That's it. You're gonna die. You also get the charge that says you get to stay to the end of the round. So, like, no matter what you do,
like personal warhog. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, how about this? If you get blown up before your initiative, your Dead Man Switch does triple. There you go.
Yeah.
And if you don't get blown up till your initiative, then your Dead Man Switch only gets 1. There you go. Even better.
Hey, I mean, or they could be like the Mandalorian Commandos, right? Like they don't have to be an actual ship in X-Wing. You just deploy them like Mandalorian Commandos.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a double Dead Man Switch. Yeah, if I don't get my charges off, I do 2 damage to you. Oh my god.
Yeah,
you're killing me. Well, I could see it though. I could see those ships. That's not the first time we've seen those ships, right?
Yeah, absolutely right.
They're tanks that deploy on rocks. All right, no Deslin, no.
They're not vulture droids, man.
You're never gonna get a rebel ship that can sit on a rock and shoot you. You break the game. The game breaks.
Yep.
I don't care. The game breaks. They cannot sit on rocks unless they're like the Mando little tokens. Then I don't care. Yeah, I know they wreck Grievous. That's fine. Doesn't mean that they should exist in the game. You're killing me. You're killing me, son. All right. So, for me, again, the highlight was there was a lot more action. We got to see Obi-Wan kind of get his groove back. And again, the end of the episode where Leia gets the gravity. Like, this is, to me, this is the defining moment of what makes, like, and this is why I like this show so much. Because to me, even if they didn't mean it, like, to me, this is the defining moment where Leia decides this is what I want my life to be.
Yeah, I agree.
She's not like Padme, right? Like, Padme always knew she wanted to be something different. She always wanted that. That was like ingrained in her. This is the moment when little Leia goes, fuck. What's going on? Why is this happening? I can't believe it. And Leia just goes, all right, I know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Now, I will tell you the continuity with how the fuck Bail lives that long is beyond me. I hope they solve that because, like, for Christ's sake, like, she's like, my dad's a senator. And all these inquisitors are like, oh, we all know who the fuck this person is and that they're working with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, come on. Like, this is like in continuity to some extent. Like, there's no way Bail can continue to live. Like, come on. Like, Vader's going to go, oh, you are friends with Obi-Wan Kenobi? All right. We're going to let you live because I'm going to lure you. Come on. It's never, like, that's not logical.
Well, I mean, Bail lives until Rogue One. I mean, we know that, but,
Bail lives until Alderaan is destroyed.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, as far as we know, right? Because
no, we know. They've openly stated it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we haven't seen the dead body.
I googled it.
The GI. I was gonna say we have another Grand Inquisitor issue. Like we don't see the dead body, so we don't know if he's dead.
That's true.
No, yeah, you're right. I do want to go back just for a particular scene, and it's when Vader's walking in with a purpose. Like he looks like he hasn't force choked somebody in about a month, and he needs to fill his quota. And the way he walks in, Hayden Christensen as Vader. Like just and it's like the Mando effect, right? It's like if you don't put a face on somebody, just the body like action and how they perform is everything that they get to give. And Hayden Christensen just nailed it. Vader just walking in with that intent he's like, I'm gonna go choke somebody today. He walks in and just force chokes Reva to the point that he's like, just the effect of his anger, you can see everything around him in that area just shake from his anger as he's force choking Riva, and I thought that was just such a great scene for Vader, just showing his menacing character, something that we don't get to see often in like actual like video media and live action media. Just seeing that menacing Vader, like I loved it. That was great.
Yeah, because you got to think this is like a somewhat mature Anakin. Like this is Anakin starting to mature, where he's like having to find himself past like his accident, and him coming in and being able to like he can't it's like Kylo, right? Like it's all of a sudden like we can understand how Kylo gets to where Kylo gets, except for the fact that Kylo takes a different path, right?
Yeah,
Vader takes a different path than him. And I think it's because Vader is more immature, right?
yeah,
And again, you got to think like if we talk true love and we talk all these other things, right? Anakin truly thought that Padme was the only one, right? And like no matter like Anakin, and this is the part I hate about the prequels more than Jar Jar Binks, right? Is this unacquitted like I only love this one person, blah blah blah. I don't believe in one true love. Like I don't believe it exists. Like that's like fairy tale stuff, right? I think you could be more attracted to somebody, blah blah blah. Like you could be more compatible with people, but like there's other. You don't have. There's not a predestined one love for you, like, and I think like Star Wars exemplifies that in every aspect. Like I don't think they go there is really just one true love. They go there's a reason we don't want Jedi to date people because you're too fucking dumb to, not believe like to not get past this. And like Anakin is like the precipice of this whole thing, which is even if we talk about the chosen one, right? Like how the hell is Anakin anywhere near this chosen? Like it makes no sense. Like Anakin is not a chosen one. But that's a different discussion about Clone Wars that, we can get into. But I agree with you, though.
Yeah. And here's hoping for a strong finish in episode 5 and 6 coming out soon. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited for 5 and 6. I will tell you, though, I love the Vader piece because Vader's obviously like my favorite character of all times. Period. But like I think the biggest thing that can come out of this is the character development of Leia. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that the way that they've handled her development so far, going from just like the senator's kid, just going around to realizing, hey, this is for real. Like this is something that's happening right now. I got to do something about it. And yeah, just having that development for her character, A+.
And that piece feels real, right? Like that's where that's where it gets me. Like that's a real feeling that this character is expressing. And just a simple handhold with Obi-Wan, I don't know. And again, yes, I'm a father, blah blah blah, but I don't know. That's pretty insane. That's pretty
that makes
good.
it relatable, right? It makes it relatable, right? Because you're drawing on the emotions from real life, and that's what you want to get your audience invested in, right? Like draw from personal experience to get you invested into the characters, and I think they're doing a good job so far doing that. So.
And I agree. And you're right. You're right. Because it's kind of the same thing as like when my daughters and I sit down for dinner sometimes and we have to talk about, we go to a conservative-ish school and sometimes we have to have conversations about things that like are issues that come up in their school that people dismiss. And you just kind of go, no, honey, what they were talking about is racist, or no, they're being homophobic here, or no, they're being sexist here. These things that come up, like are real life conversations. And I think this brings it home that, like the reality that young people are smarter than what they are and should be treated as maybe not adults, but not people without brains that you should brainwash
with respect
is so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. When my daughter comes out and says, you're being an asshole, Dad, typically I don't just get mad and ground them. I usually sit down and go, okay, let's talk about it. Why do you feel I'm being an asshole? And most of the time they're probably right. I'm probably in a bad mood, or, somebody pissed me off because I lost my X-Wing game, or, I don't know.
Or ran trajectory sim other B-Wings, or,
Yeah. They're usually in bed at that point because of you. But. All right. Anyway. Thank you all for joining us. This has been our Universe Extended discussion about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. we will continue to do this for the next 2 episodes. And then after that, JJ and I are going to get together. And if he hasn't finished Thrawn by then, I guess he's fired. So you have 2 weeks to finish the Thrawn episode or Thrawn books, because I think that's what we're going to go into next.
All right.
But if you would like to vote and you would like a say in what it is, I'll tell you what, I'll put a poll up with some of the different book series and things like that. And I think what we'll do, any book that's in canon right now. Yeah. I won't say I will open it up. I can't open it up to Legends, only for the pure fact that like I've read 75% of them, but not 100%, you know.
Yeah.
But anything that's in canon, I will open up, and we can do a half-hour After Dark or Universe Extended episode every week where we talk about a different book. I'm okay with that. Like that's fine with me. And we can play it by ear how long it takes us to do. Like I would do High Republic stuff. I would do Thrawn stuff. We could do the Aftermath stuff. We haven't done that yet. I haven't read all the Alphabet Squadron books, so I guess that's kind of next on my list. Is the Alphabet Squadron books. I should probably get through those before the new movies come out and ruin them for me. So,
yeah, exactly. All right.
Well, cool. Well, thank you all for joining us. If you did not know, we have a X-Wing podcast show that we air 9 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night. Talk about Star Wars X-Wing 2.5 meta and why JJ is going to give up his hat if he does not win our Planning Phase Open Syndicate tournament. You're giving the hand up, buddy.
I won't, because I'm going to be TOing. So
guess who's giving up the hat? I got it, baby. I got it on. You're giving the hat up. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night, and we will see you next week with more Planning Phase Syndicate. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.